Hey YouTube, how's it going? How was your week today? My week was good. I'm just gonna move my mouse over here because I feel like when I touch my cord, it like sounds weird. So I'm just gonna move my cord out of the way and then I won't touch it. So today I went to a different office space that's right near my house, and that's going to be the space that I work at now. And it was so easy to get to. It was a 29-minute walk from my house and a little bit chilly, but it was such an easy commute. And I'm either going to walk, ride my bike, or drive. We'll see if I have the ability to ride in cold Canadian winters, but that is going to be the goal. But I'm really excited because it's right near my house and it's the easiest commute ever. And I'm excited about it. I don't need to do some long ass commute. So that's what happened to me today. And happy weekend, everyone. My laptop is running so cursey word slow. Oh, Marie's here. Hey, Marie, how's it going? As of 6:36 at Eastern Time, USA, Beachbody stock is 20 cents. Woo, woo, woo. Hi, Lori. How's it going today? Everyone's saying hi to each other. Oh, Elaine was watching DC until I started. That's nice. Aw, Marie, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better really, really soon. And Marie, good call not watching the video if you think it might impact your mental health. That's important. So I'm happy to hear that you did that or you didn't watch the video. And Lori said manifest some better health. We're going to talk about some manifestation today because it is the Beach Boss influencers, and there's always some focus on manifestation for sure. Oh, Sherry's here. Hey, Sherry. How's it going? Thank you for being here. Hey, Gary. How's it going? Grace Church Allen. Hi, Heather. Hi, everyone. I'll email you, Heather. Been running around a lot. Did I give you my email before? I don't think I've seen you in my chat. Maybe you changed your username recently, but I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, here's. Oh, it's Anne Marie. Okay. I was like, I don't know you. Hello? Okay. Anne Marie, I was about to give you my email, but you already have it. Happy to see you here. And yeah, email me when you can. No worries. We're all busy. I'm good. It's been a while. Yeah. So my father has made me promise to not tell people to go watch other streams. But I'm gonna do it anyways because Danielle Ryan is going live in 12 minutes with a topic that I sent to her, and it'll be a really good stream. And if I wasn't doing this right now, I would be watching that. So if you want in 12 minutes, you can go watch that and then finish me on the replay. And if I had my normal schedule, I have to go change, put on my winter tires after this. If I wasn't doing that, I would watch the majority of her video and then do my stream in like an hour and a half. But I'm going to have to watch it on the replay. And Lori said, I'm going to watch both. Good idea, Lori. Yeah, it's going to be a good one for sure. We've done a few episodes of the Unleash Your Inner Badass podcast from MLM coaches, Beach Boss influencers on my page. This is another interesting one. It's only 15 minutes, but they talk very slow, so I have it on 1.25 speed. And I hope you enjoy it. This is an interesting topic for sure, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, I'm ready.
To Unleash Your Inner Badass. We are the Beach Boss influencers. On today's episode, we wanted to talk about wealth versus money. We, a lot of times, you know, as entrepreneurs, network marketers, whatever it is that you're building inside of the entrepreneur umbrella.
As entrepreneurs, network marketers, but I thought you said, she made it seem like entrepreneurs and network marketers, right? But you say that network marketers are entrepreneurs. You say that in this video. I think Carrie says it. In my opinion, we all know that people in MLMs are not entrepreneurs. The Beach Boss influencers are definitely entrepreneurs because they open up their own business coaching, their MLM coaching business. The CEOs of MLMs are entrepreneurs. Actual business owners are entrepreneurs, but we know those in MLMs are not entrepreneurs or business owners. Oh, I'll stick with you, but we'll absolutely catch Danielle on the replay. Oh, thank you so much. That's so nice, Marie. Oh, hey, Jeanette. How's it going? Happy to see you here.
There can be a negative connotation, so to speak, with money, right? And you kind of have an internal battle around, wanting a bigger vision of money for yourself, which actually really is you wanting to grow wealth for your family, generational wealth, right? That language is talked a lot about inside of our space.
Generational wealth is talked a lot about in MLM because they say with this MLM, you can pass on your business to your children and your grandchildren. You can make sure all of those people are taken care of when you have passed away. Chelsea at I am CC Suarez has said, that's a lot of pressure. Why do we need to worry about our grandkids and our grandkids' grandkids? We should be focusing on taking care of those of us who are around us currently. And it's a lot of pressure to live through your life, wondering about 3 generations down the road and trying to make sure that they are taken care of financially. And we know that in MLM, you're not going to have true generational wealth unless you're at the very, very top of the company. Maybe you're one of the first few who got into that MLM, and maybe you don't really have to work because you have the majority of the company in your downline. Those people may or may not have the amount of wealth that's needed to pass on to their kids or their grandkids and actually take care of them financially for the rest of their lives. I had something else. There's always a narrative in MLM that we are not finding success because we have a negative mindset around money. We have childhood trauma, childhood baggage that they say this a lot. These women say this, that puts up a block or wall between us and the money. And all we have to do is just address that baggage and that trauma. And then we will allow money to flow to us, and it will naturally flow to us, which they will say later. Excuse me. Oh, you're helping at a Halloween event. That's so fun. Enjoy. Oh, hey, Jenny. Thank you for joining. It's so nice to see you. I need a drink. My throat's I'm fine all day long. And then the moment I'm on stream, my throat sounds silly.
And so today we actually wanted to break it down for you, kind of debunk the negative, the negativity around wanting to create wealth for your business and what actually drives that wealth, right? But also kind of to break down, needing versus wanting, and how that plays in with money and with building wealth. So,
yeah. Go ahead, Brad.
No, so what I wanted is just a finite resource. Wealth, when you talk about the difference between money and wealth is creating assets. It's creating value. It is creating something that is going to be of value to somebody else. And you can have wealth without having money. Okay.
Apparently we can have wealth without having money. Wealth is creating value, something of value for someone else. Okay, so Fran just told us we can have wealth without having money. I'll say hi to the people who jumped in just a second. If I don't get my thought out, I will never remember it, and then I'll get frustrated. So I quickly just Googled wealth definition, and I'll just show you here. Oh, PH actress, I may have to jump out in a little while. No problem. Thank you for being here. An abundance of valuable possessions or money. He used his wealth to bribe officials. Okay, so in my mind, isn't wealth the accumulation of money or like investments or RRSPs or whatever, or any American investment methods, right? Wealth is the abundance of valuable financial assets or physical possessions which could be converted into a form that could be used for transactions. So sure, you can have wealth without money, but your wealth translates into money. So it's not just simply, in my opinion, it's not just simply having something of value to someone else. It could be investments. It could be really big house that you can sell and make a lot of money. It could be rental properties, right? But it translates into wealth. So one cannot have wealth without money, and it's not just having something of value, because that makes it seem like, oh, if you just help people, if you just want to do good for other people, then you automatically have wealth. And that's not the case. Oh, Red Wing's here. Hey, Red Wing. So nice to see you. You probably stress your voice when going on a live stream. Oh, for sure. For sure. Especially the ones where I'm not watching a video and I just talk for a whole hour straight. Yeah, for sure. If I'm trying to have wealth without money, why am I even trying to build a business? That thought is useless in business training. Because if we want to be an Amway or we want to be successful in any MLM, we need to focus on the impact that we're having on people. We need to focus on how we're improving other people's lives, because, impact can help us pay our bills. Are they using wealth metaphorically, like wealth of family and friends? I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe. Good question. Okay, wealth for me can be no money, like health and family. Totally. I was thinking of more of the technical definition of wealth, but we know there are different things that can make us seem. There are different things that can help us feel fulfilled in life. Like maybe we can feel, I don't know what I'm trying to get at. I was just thinking of the technical definition, but you're right. Wealth can mean different things to different people. What do you guys think? Thank you for that, Marie. Or meaning you can have wealth without ready cash, for sure, i.e. possessions and not liquid assets. Okay, maybe that's what she meant.
But as you create this abundance, so wealth comes from an abundance mindset, whereas money is like, I need this, I need money, I need, and I don't know if this is making sense, but money comes from a place of needing. Okay. And so often we hear it in our coaching calls is like, I need this to happen. I need to make money. I need this. Instead of thinking about what can I create that is going to make the world a better place? What can I put out there that is going to help and serve other people?
They hear a lot in their coaching calls. People say, I need money. I need this. And instead of that, instead of focusing on that they need money to pay for things, they should focus on wanting to make the world a better place and serving others. In my opinion, they're going to insinuate later that we are not finding success. We are not finding, we do not have financial gain in our life or in our MLM business because we need our money. We're focusing on the financial benefit of our MLM business instead of the impact, instead of wanting to make an impact. We are just needing money. I get where you're coming. Yeah, because this is a business training. Yeah, totally. And I see, Red Wing said down here, wealth is like having resources to get things done, money, friends, family time, health, skills, for sure. And I think those are all, in a non-business context, I think that broader definition of wealth would make a lot more sense. But like Paige Actress said earlier, this is a business. And so why are we being told that we can have wealth without money if we're trying to expand our business and trying to have financial freedom? And let's look at either definition, right? So financial wealth or wealth of social interactions and people who love us and care about us and understand us, right? We are not going to find any of those in an MLM. We are not going to have more, like Red Wing said, more time to get things done. No, we are going to have our entire day devoted to working our MLM business. We are not going to see our family. We are going to miss out on fun times with our friends. Potentially our health could diminish mentally and physically, because if we're not sleeping because we're working our business until midnight, then waking up at 5, our physical health can go downhill, and that could lead to our mental health worsening as well, right? And so if you look at either definition, we know the MLM world is not going to help us in either definition, right? I don't need a business for that spiritual wealth. I will go spend time with loved ones and at volunteer work, something you can't do when you are consistently grinding for an MLM. Exactly. They know how many people join Beachbody, Amway, etc. because they're in financial need. So they lure them with that and then shame them for it in their stupid training. Exactly. They say you can achieve your wildest financial dreams, But then once you're in, they're talking about you need to make the world a better place and focus on impact. And that's why you're not finding success in your MLM. It's a real bait and switch, and it's very confusing.
Because that is creating wealth. Okay. And as you do this more and more and more, the money will naturally flow in. Okay. And when you have more and more money, you have more wealth because you can do more things and you can create more value and more assets for the world.
Mm-hmm.
I interrupted you, Carrie. You carry on.
When you focus on wealth, when you focus on making an impact and providing something of value, then money will naturally flow in, and that will lead you to have more wealth because you can do more things for the world. So we just need to have a positive mindset and not focus on money, and then the money will magically flow in. What do we think about that? Oh, Ove is here. Hey, Ove, how's it going? It's so nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Love it. And Marie said hi to you, Ove. We're learning about the difference between wealth and money. And I was thinking just the technical definition of financial wealth. And then some of the friends in the chat were talking about other definitions of wealth, like your money and spending time with your friends and your loved ones and being physically healthy. And yeah, we just kind of talked about different definitions of wealth. And the definition of wealth that we think should be talked about in an MLM or in a business training should be financial wealth, right? I'm blabbing. I'll let it play for a second.
No, you're just fine. So, to give like a real life example of this. So, one time when I was little, like I always wanted like a big house, not necessarily like a mansion, right? I didn't necessarily need it to be $50 million home, but at the time it was like, and I look at the homes that like I'm attracted to today, it's probably a $2-3 million home, right? Like I want 2 offices, one for Whit and I. Anyways, when I was younger and we would go and I would look at these homes and I'd like want it, I'd hear my mom in the front seat. Why would anybody need a home that big? And this.
That would be one of the negative limiting beliefs about money, right? So she grew up hearing no one needs a home that big. And so now as an adult, she thinks, okay, well, I don't actually need a home that big. So the only way that she could get a really large home would be to address her inner child and her negative beliefs about money and her baggage around money. And then when she addresses that, the money will just magically flow in and she'll be able to afford a big ass home. Oh, just getting back from groceries. I love going to the grocery store. So fun. So fun. Yeah. What are these records? Because for a while, I remember in an old video, we thought they might have been the records from that 6-figure person. Remember, it was Justin something because he had records like that. But I see those in all these like a bunch of videos, especially this curvy one with Fran. So I don't know. I do not know where that's from. Does anyone know? Is it a Russell Brunson thing, maybe? Is it Russell? Is it Russell? I'm not sure. But I need a big house for all my books and stuff. And it's totally fine to want a big house, right? Totally fine. But are they going to be shaming us? Are they going to be shaming us if we don't want a big home? If we're like, no, I'm happy with my small apartment. I'm happy with the job and the money I'm making. Because they're making it seem like it's a positive thing to want material items. But what if someone doesn't want material items? What if someone wants to just stay where they are in the MLM? What if they're happy with their team and their income? Would you shame them then? Probably. They are impressive. I wonder how much they cost and if the person getting them has to pay. I bet they do. Is it Russell Brunson? Perhaps. I'm not sure.
Into like money versus wealth and wanting versus needing, I realized that that's something from my childhood that in the back of my mind, I have my mom's head. Why would anybody need a home that big? Well, here's the difference. I don't need a home that big, but I want a home that big. I've always wanted a home that big. I've always wanted a pool, right? I've always wanted a pool and a hot tub. And I've always wanted enough space for my kids to go out and run and the dogs go out and run. I want a basketball court so that my 10-year-old can like practice basketball at home and he isn't like just requires no justification. when somebody asks why you want
There are things that you as an entrepreneur want that require no justification. So she's telling us how we do not. Oh, did someone leave a link, Elaine? Because if you're not a mod, you're not able to link anything in the chat, unfortunately. But you're saying just Google Russell. Yeah, Google Russell Brunson. He's an interesting one. So she gave the example of she doesn't need to justify why she wants a big home, why she wants additional space with her for her pets and her dog and her husband. Sure, that's fine. You don't. But she's going to compare that to, in my opinion, you don't need to justify spending thousands and thousands of dollars on MLM training from the Beach Boss influencers. If you saw a recent video with Anne-Marie when we looked at one of these podcast episodes, Anne-Marie added at the end of that video a 5-minute testimonial where the woman said she spent $25,000 on Beach Boss influencer training. I'm sorry, if you are in a partnership, in a relationship, if you have a spouse, significant other, even if you don't have shared finances, I feel like one should at least discuss spending that much money with their spouse, because if I were to spend $25,000 on something, that would mean that I don't have enough money to pay rent, to pay for our shared expenses like groceries and gas for our car. So I think in daily life, one should not necessarily need to justify their decisions, but one should discuss with their spouse before making significant financial decisions. For me, I don't think I've ever thought of this specifically before. For me, I think that means anything above like $100. I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm thinking of getting it. 99.99% of the time, oh yeah, it sounds cool. But I think it's important to check in with your spouse when you're thinking of spending a significant amount of money. What do we think about that? Yes, ClickFunnels training is Russell Brunson for sure. Oh, I missed the comment from up here. Sorry. I have a cousin with a $500,000 big house, and it's huge with a ton of empty space, and my cousin won't even let us sit on her furniture and won't accept gifts that aren't ridiculously expensive. Aw. I'm sorry. That sounds a bit sad for sure. My sibling and I think her husband might be behind an MLM, but he's secretive about what he does, so we're not sure. Aw. That's too bad. Yes. Google Russell Brunson. He's an interesting friend for sure. Oh, Marie, you read it as curse man, not husband. It's not about justifying. It's about putting all your focus on designing material things to the point where you make questionable choices like joining an MLM to maintain them. And she's talking about not having to justify financial decisions. So we translate that into not feeling like we don't need to justify spending $25,000 on an MLM or MLM training, or going to a $3,000 MLM event, going to a mastermind, spending all our money on products. In my opinion, you do need to discuss it with your spouse. Also, exactly, why is the focus on material items? Why shouldn't it be, I want to spend more time with my spouse and my kids? Because if someone in her downline came up to her and said, I can't work so much on my MLM, I'm missing out on time with my family, I bet you $100 that person would have to justify their decision of not working their MLM constantly to be present with their children. So we don't need to justify financial decisions, but we need to justify decisions to spend more time with our kids. Oh, hey, Neil, how's it going? The topic of wealth versus money / being rich. Is this a coming trope with MLMs? I remember hearing this from Amway as a kid. Oh, interesting. I love when we listened to our MLM, our Amway tapes from like the 80s or the 90s, and we hear little snippets like that we also hear in common day MLM. It's so interesting to hear where common day MLM people may have gotten their narratives and their ideologies from. So I have a problem with money in that I have trouble spending money on myself. I asked my BF for permission and he tells me to spend more than I was planning. Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, like you're trying to address your problems with spending money and you're looking to your partner for support, right? And yeah, it's not really the same as having to justify it, right? Because, yeah, I don't know. The only time you don't need to justify your spending with your spouse and partner is when you have so much money you can wipe your butt with bills. Otherwise, talk to your partner. Like if I were to spend $25,000 on this training, and by doing so, I still had enough money in our savings. I was still able to pay our bill, like pay up my half of the bills and do all of the cover all the expenses. Then I think that's fine. That's totally different. I need Tylenol. My eyeballs hurt. My husband's away, so he's just outside doing our tires. 10-second break. I'm sorry. I should be more prepared. I know. I keep thinking I'm going to be fine, and then my eyes hurt. So I'll be right back. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Sorry, friends. I need to be more prepared, but I'm not, because I'm finding myself like I'm losing my train of thought, and it's kind of a struggle for me to get things out right now. And I think it's because my eyes are starting to hurt. I think so. So I'm going to let it play for a minute, and I'm going to take some Tylenol. Oh, thank you, Elaine. And thank you. Oh, that's so nice. I appreciate that. I think it's the only response thing is to communicate with anyone that you share. Yes, exactly. And I would pay, it wouldn't be an issue if I could spend $10,000 and still have enough money to cover all of our expenses and our savings, right? That would be the only instance where I would not communicate with my spouse first.
You don't have to justify, you don't have to rationalize, and there might be an inner child in the back of your head from experiences that is saying you don't need that. No, you may not need it, but you want it. And it's the value of wanting that helps entrepreneurs, scale to astronomical heights. When it comes down to is that, yes, money is a finite resource, right? Like, well, here's the thing. People believe money is a finite resource, that it could disappear, right? Whereas it's actually something that is never ending. It's an infinite game, right? When you start to focus on what you want and creating wealth, assets, and value, and you move in that direction, you move towards abundance and you leave scarcity behind. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? There's enough money in the world for everyone to have it. The only reason that certain people have it and others don't is because they think differently about creating wealth and creating assets. Entrepreneurs.
The only reason people don't have money is because they think differently about creating wealth and creating assets. I've said this 1,000 times. Anytime we hear anything about it's your fault you're poor, it's your fault you're in poverty, people don't acknowledge privilege that comes with being Caucasian, that comes with being able-bodied, maybe one who was raised in a middle-class, comfortable family, maybe one who has never experienced trauma, who does not go up against socioeconomic factors that make it really hard for them to be considered for high-paying jobs. Maybe someone who didn't have the money to go to university and worked for 5 years full-time so they could afford to go, they're going to have a harder time to getting through school than someone who has financial support of their parents. There are a lot of things that make people more privileged than others. Like, I'm privileged and I acknowledge my privilege. I just, it's so insulting for her to say something like that. And then you think of people who may be living on the streets. Are they living on the streets just because they think differently? No, because economies go up and down. People lose their jobs instantly. In a moment, someone could lose their entire livelihood and end up on the streets. In a moment, someone's life could completely change and they could end up on the streets, right? Maybe a spouse passes away and they end up on the streets because they're not able to go to work. Anything could happen. Or you could be divorced and you lose your house in the divorce and you end up on the streets. Is that just because someone did not think properly? Is it their fault that they went through trauma and ended up on the streets? No. I can't stand that argument. And I missed so many comments. I'm so sorry. It's been like 6 minutes since I read a comment. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I wonder if Europe is the same. The reason for divorce is that worldwide. I wonder. I don't know. I wonder. Yeah. I try to talk about money often with my spouse. Like whenever it comes up, whenever we need to talk about it, we talk about it. What does believing that money is finite or infinite have to do with growing my personal income? Maybe we believe it's finite, and so we are just needing money instead of wanting money, right? Because we need money because we believe it will disappear, right? Yes. Someone who has a name that sounds ethnic, right? That's hard for Americans to pronounce, may have a harder time getting a job, right? Right? Because sometimes hiring managers are prejudiced or racist, and they may have trouble getting a job. That's not their fault. It's the fault of the hiring manager who's racist. Exactly, Elaine. Why am I getting annoyed? I can't remember that from the Swedish reports, but it was some time since I read them. Interesting. Yeah. I'd love to know what the leading cause of divorce is. Yes, car accident, disability. There's 1,000 reasons why someone may be living in poverty, someone who may not have money. Sexism, ableism. Yeah, thanks, Elaine. Well, in some countries we have social security net, so nothing like that would end up with you on the street. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to access those social security benefits, right? Because you often need, you do need an address or a bank account to access those. And it's really hard if you're not aware of government services or how to navigate. It's hard to get yourself into the room or into the system where you can receive that help, right? For sure. There's a million reasons why someone may not have money. Transphobia, exactly. You all feel me.
Are the ones that I firmly believe, and I will stand tooth and nail. Entrepreneurs are the ones that change the world. Entrepreneurs are the ones that drive economies. Entrepreneurs are the ones that create income for families. They create money out of thin air when they have an idea and they put a price tag behind it.
Entrepreneurs create money out of thin air. Where do you think the money comes from? It doesn't just appear, but to them it does, because all we need to do is just have a positive mindset. We need to want wealth instead of needing money, and then it will appear. Oh, do you mean it's not hard for a financially vulnerable person to connect with Social Security in Europe? If so, that's interesting and good to hear.
So money is not scarce. It's not something that will disappear if you know how to create value and create assets and be that creative entrepreneur to make the world go round. You can always create more of it. And
you can always create more money. It's not like people get laid off without warning. It's not like if you're in an MLM, you can just get fired immediately. Oh, no worries, Marie. No worries. It was related to what we were talking about for sure. No worries. It's not like one can get fired from an MLM. It's not like one's MLM can close down. It's not like a worldwide pandemic can happen where people have less purchasing power and inflation skyrockets and people, if they're not getting raises, people are losing money. So say if you are an entrepreneur, right? During COVID, you may have had less people who could afford your services because people were laid off and inflation. So it's not like there are countless external factors, economic, social, political factors that could impact people's ability to purchase the services of an entrepreneur, right? Okay. Yes. Agreed. There's so many things. So frustrating. Consumer demand, not entrepreneurs, and certainly not MLM hunts drive the economy. I love that you all think just like me. I love it. Okay. My opinion was on old info. Lack of commitment is the number one cause of divorce worldwide. Interesting, Elaine. Thank you.
Mentor of mine that Adrian and I both did that taught us Facebook ads. And he asked a question in a workshop once. He was all like, where does money come from? And, you know, people were like given like the technical like terms of it. We're like, you know, oh, I'm pretty sure that there's like a lab where they create the money, you know, like we were like given that. And he's all like, you're all wrong. It comes from other people's bank accounts. Money is digits. It's numbers in people's bank accounts. And when you create something or you have something that you know is of value and you go after and you want to sell it, you want to mass distribute it to the world, all it is someone taking digits from their bank account and transferring it to yours. And when you start to view money that way, that it's just digits and it's always flowing and it's never ending, that's how you create wealth.
The other thing about
when you view money as something that's always flowing and never ending, then that's how you create wealth. I think hearing someone say something like that, it really just showcases the privilege that they must have gone through, the privilege that they must have experienced as a child, because I don't think I've ever thought that money is never ending. I've seen my parents work hard for the money they had and take great pride in their house and in the activities we're able to participate in. And like, I was not in a financially vulnerable situation as a child, but even I never assumed that money is endless because my parents taught me the value of money, right? And I just wonder if this is true, if this is her real assumption about money, that it's always flowing and never ending, or if she's just pretending, because I don't know how someone would be taught that by their parents, would learn that growing up, because it is just so far from the truth. It's just so hard from the truth. And I don't understand how someone could have an assumption like that, because if she truly believes that, then she experienced a life of extreme privilege, never had any financial insecurities, never had to worry about money because there was always money there. That was very blabby. Sorry about that. It's also hard to get a job when you have bad credit. My sister can't get a basic security clearance to work for the IRS or the court system because she has bad credit. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible. What's the problem with getting a job if you are unhoused? No address is the first problem. Yeah, we had to pay an extra fee for me to apply for my apartment because I don't have credit, despite my BF being the one who pays rent and has a good job. Oh, that's so terrible. So back to, sorry, Marie, I thought someone was addressed your comment down here. I think one of it would be no address. Another, at least in Canada, there are certain stigmas around individuals who are unhoused. I think the assumption is a lot of people assume people are lazy or don't want to be housed and don't want to improve their lives, which is not the point, which is not the truth for everyone who is unhoused. And I think negative stereotypes like that could make it harder for employers to see a homeless, unhoused person as a potentially strong employee. Lots of stigmas.
wanting is that you're creating something that isn't taking away from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You're creating something that doesn't exist yet, and you're creating something. So instead of taking it away from somebody else, you're creating something that is going to add more abundance. And so often when we think about money and it comes from a place of needing, you're coming from a place of scarcity. I need it because you're having to justify why you need that money. You're having to justify, like, I need it to be able to pay the bills. I need it to be able to go on vacation. I need it for blah, 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 blah. Whereas wanting is, you don't, like Carrie said, you don't have to justify why you want something. You just do. You just want it for you.
And this is very hard. Yeah, and this is very hard.
So if we change our mindset around money, and instead of needing money to, feed our kids, keep a roof over our head, buy clothes for us and our kids, instead of needing money, we just need to want money. We just need to want money, and then that will help us create wealth, and the money will just flow in. How are we supposed to build our business? Like Paige Actress said a while ago, how are we supposed to build our business with that? Don't want money. No, don't need money, but want wealth. Okay, but how does that translate into actual business advice, actual business building tips? Yeah, and Ove makes a good point. People who are unhoused may not have access to proper clothes for an interview. They won't be able to get clean. Maybe their hair is unkept. And so employers may struggle to see them as a good candidate in an interview because of that, because they're not able to present themselves in like a stereotypical professional manner. But yeah, that's it. That's also a really good point, Ove. Love that.
Especially when you are surrounded by needers. There's a book that we're reading called 10X is Easier Than 2X, and he outlines this perfectly. There's a whole lot of needers around one wanter. And when you move into this wealth creation mindset and you start wanting certain things, and here's the thing, you already want them. It's not starting to want, you already want them. There's no wrong in wanting the big house. There's no wrong in wanting a private jet. There's no wrong. And because we're surrounded by needers that say, why would you need that? Right? Or they come in wanting you to justify a purchase that you made for whatever reason that may be. Those are the people that in a way can start to mess with your mindset. When you start to move into that, wanting, and you go after and you start buying, you're going to have people that judge, but it requires no justification. And when you're surrounded by needers, you'll feel the need to justify your purchase, whatever that purchase was. You don't need to. If you want that $250,000 sports car and somebody comes and says, why would you need that? You don't say, I don't need it. I didn't need it. I want it. I wanted it. When you switch your mindset into I want it and I can have it, and there's nothing that's stopping me from creating an empire that will be able to bring in that finite resource of whatever it is to grab it, there's no need for justification in anything that you buy, in anything that you invest in from here on out.
Why is the positive view on wanting extravagant material items? Why is it you don't need to justify having a private jet and a huge house and a $250,000 sport car? But like I said earlier, I'm going to need to justify to her why I'm not working my MLM business with every single spare moment I have. Why do I need to justify not working my business constantly so I can spend more time with my kids? Why is the focus always on material goods? And like PH Actress said here, yeah, just want money. It's so simple. I'm surprised we're not all millionaires by now. But what if we don't just want money? What if we want money that will take care of our needs, help us save for retirement, put towards our kids' education, have a vacation once a year, and that's it? Why do we need to want huge airplanes? Why do we need to want huge airplanes in order to find success in our MLM business? That doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. I follow an American woman who moved to Germany with her hubby, and wow, it is so different. Really? What do you mean it's so different? Like with unhoused individuals getting employment? Is that what you mean? Sorry, I thought I knew what you meant, and then I realized I didn't know. I can speak to the court system. They don't hire people with bad debt primarily because they feel that might open the person to bribes. Interesting. It's really different, and I constantly have to adjust my mind to your situation. Also makes them look, in their opinion, that the person is irresponsible. Ugh, that's so frustrating. Thank you for sharing that, Lori. And I think that this is an example of very, very polite gaslighting. They're not saying it's your fault because you're lazy. They're saying that, insinuating that we may not be making significant money in our MLM because our mindset around money is different, because we have childhood experiences around money that are impacting how we think of it as an adult. We're focusing on working our business so we can have the money to take care of our basic needs. Instead, we should be focusing on our business so we can create wealth by making financial decisions that we want. Like what I think Marie said earlier, wealth means different things for different people. Why can't we be focusing on the non-financial definition of wealth, of being with our family and friends and being healthy and happy? Why is it just financial? I feel like I'm not explaining myself well at all today, and I'm very sorry. I think I'm getting hungry. That's probably it. My sister has a BA in criminal justice and is so close to getting her BS in psych. Wow. She has 2 kids and COVID happened and her husband lost his job. What they're saying is even more tone deaf in the context of us getting past the COVID pandemic, even though it's still occurring now. So many people became unemployed. So many people were let go. Whole workplaces shut down. And it's not the fault of the individuals for experiencing stress while wondering how they're going to pay for their expenses, how they're going to feed their kids. People were confused and scared and worried that they were not going to have enough money to put food on the table. They kind of stressed that that could put on a person, wondering how you're going to feed your kids the next day. And to have her sit there and say, there's enough money in the world for everyone. It's just your thinking that is getting in the way of you having money, right? It's like, no. COVID-19 happened and I got let go. And I experienced significant mental health challenges because I was worried about how I was going to feed my children. There are external factors that can impact our thoughts around money and how, our thoughts around money and how we would go about trying to obtain wealth. The social services in Germany are light years above USA. Their gun control is 1,000,000 times better. Daycare, healthcare, public transportation. Wow, interesting. Interesting. Daycare is still quite expensive in Canada. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It could be like $1,000 a month or more than that.
Spent a lot of money in Beach Boss Influencers in mentorship and in coaching and in, bringing in people to like make Beach Boss just the best of the best. We're really focused on the quality of what we have here at Beach Boss Influencers. And because we're focused on quality, it means that we have spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars over the last, few years in making Beach Boss the best quality product that we actually could.
Mhm.
Somebody who doesn't understand, who thinks.
So since they spent millions of dollars making their product as best they possibly could, that translates into, for us to be serious business owners, we need to invest in their services. In my opinion, this is all just a little bit more of a subtle advertisement for their training, right? Just focus on building wealth. Focus on what you want. Don't justify your financial decisions. Therefore, meaning purchase or $25,000 MLM training. Serves them to have their downline crave luxury goods. If they do a lot of conspicuous consumption, that's better advertising for the MLM than just living within your means. Exactly. So if someone's like, oh, I have some money, I'm going to go buy a nice purse, and then they post it on Instagram, other people are going to look at that and think, oh, amazing, I could join this too and also have a beautiful purse. Love that point.
Thinks money can end, right? If they were to hear, oh, you spent what, $500,000 in what? Their minds would blow and you wouldn't even be able to have a conversation with that person. However, if you were to have that conversation with someone like Russell Brunson or Elon Musk or, these entrepreneurs, these or people that are making, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, they'd say, absolutely, you spend that $500,000 because what is the return on that investment going to be down the road? What is that return on investment in making Beach Boss the best of the best going to be down the road?
Maybe you're not being 100%.
How are we supposed to invest in ourselves, like you just said you did with Beach Boss Influencers, if we don't have that money? We are not going to put ourselves into massive debt to purchase your services, to go to MLM masterminds with no guarantee of financial gain as a result of that payment. Where did you get your $500,000 to invest into Beach Boss Influencers? Did you go into debt to do that? Because if you've been around for a while, my first ever Beach Boss video, they told us they went into significant debt in their MLM before they started Beach Boss Influencers. So was that debt just as a result of their thinking? Was that debt because they wanted money, or they needed money, not because they wanted wealth? So is the debt your fault then? Daycare in Sweden is a sliding scale, but I think the cap is less than $300 for one child and like $450 for 2 kids. That's good. That's good. And and the only difference between us and and Elon Musk is just because he thinks better. He thinks at a higher level than us. Nothing to do with his privilege, nothing to do with him being Caucasian or male. And now I don't know his financial background, how he grew up, if he lived in a more, like, if he was in a more financially stable environment. And he was able to go to a good school. He was able to get a good job. That can all contribute to his financial status now. I'm getting so annoyed. There's enough oxygen in the world for everyone, but doesn't change the fact that I might have asthma or other respiratory issues. Believing in endless money has nothing to do with access to it. Exactly. And Elaine said he grew up poor. Okay. Never mind. But there are other things that could lead Elon Musk to have a lot of money, right? Okay, what was I going to say? Yeah, so if there's enough money for everyone in the world to have access to it, then there would be no uneven distribution of wealth. We would not have billionaires like Elon Musk existing. There would be no developing countries, there'd be no homeless people. Everyone would have enough resources to reasonably take care of themselves and their families. Because based on this argument, then I think she's saying everyone in developing countries, everyone who is unhoused, who lives on the street, is in that situation because their thinking is wrong, because they don't have the right mindset around money. So is that what you're saying, Carrie? Really? 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 Nothing to do with his daddy's emerald mine. Is that Elon? He moved to Canada when he was young. He is Canadian and American. Interesting. Because his dad was okay, there's never an emerald mine. That is all FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I have no idea anything about Elon Musk. Nothing. Okay, let's keep going.
Honest with yourself. It comes down to sitting down and having an honest conversation with yourself about what you truly, truly, in your heart of hearts, down in your core, in your deepest core, okay? Maybe the thoughts that have been niggling there that you've tried to shut down because you thought, oh no, like I shouldn't need that. And that's like, that goes against maybe my upbringing, that goes against what the values that my parents had, that goes against everything that is around me. But if you have that honest conversation with yourself, all right, truly honest conversation with yourself, what do you really want in life? What do you really want? That may be really uncomfortable to admit. It may be really, really uncomfortable to admit right now. And maybe like if you had to say this to your husband, wife, family, they'd say, I was going to swear, but they would say, what the fuck? Like, who do you think you are? Like, you're not supposed to, that's not you. You're not Tony Robbins. You're not, Elon Musk. Who do you think you are? You're just a little old housewife who's just supposed to, when you have that honest conversation with yourself and actually say, no, this is what I really want, then you give yourself permission to go after it. You give your
one tactical tip. We need to have an honest conversation with ourselves about what we really want. We want wealth. We want big fancy material items. We need to have honest conversations with our family as well. And they're going to say, what do you think you're doing? You're just a housewife. Is that insinuating that any family members who may question our involvement in an MLM is just toxic and it doesn't want what's best for us and wants us to stay in our role as a housewife or as a parent or as a spouse? It makes it seem like it's a very simplistic process, right? All we need to do is just have a conversation with ourselves and our family about what we really want. But Fran, I question to you, what if someone follows your direction and has that conversation and does the inner work that you always tell us to do, and then they're still not making any money in MLM because it is a rigged system? This whole thing is just to distract us from the fact that the business structure is making it impossible for us to actually make real money in our MLM. This is all baloney and this is all garbage. And I feel like they know it. They know it because they know, I don't know if they're still in MLM, but they know when they were in MLM, they went into debt themselves. They know the majority of people in those companies don't make any money. They know the majority of people in their training business company now don't make any money, but they're just trying to distract us. This is all smoke and mirrors. I think Fran has told us in the past that she was born and raised in South Africa. I think. She would, even if they recorded themselves following her direction 24/7, because they don't have the right mindset. They don't have the right intention while doing a said task, right?
Yourself permission to go after your dream.
And we're not finding success because we did not give ourselves permission. We did not give ourselves permission to do it. What does that mean? So it's our fault again. It's our fault. Oh, his family was wealthy during his youth. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about Elon. Nothing. All right. He said it. Yeah, exactly. Just like in Amway, anyone who doesn't support you are losers and are negative dream stealers, right? Ugh, drives me bonkers.
And here's the great thing about this and about this whole conversation. When you said, there's people that are like, you're not Elon Musk. Like, who do you think you are? That's right. You're not Elon Musk. You're you.
Yeah.
There's only one you. There will never be another you. There has never been a you. It's only you here on this earth right now. And every single one of us are entrepreneurs at heart. And we have unique abilities that set us apart from anyone else. And those unique abilities can make us more money than Elon Musk. The difference between us and Elon Musk is he's thought differently. He's thought differently as an entrepreneur. And when we start to do the hard inner work and we start to rewire everything that's going on in here to think like Elon Musk, there's nothing from stopping us to creating the type of wealth that Elon Musk has created.
I have a question, Carrie. How come you don't have the type of wealth that Elon Musk has created? I wonder, because you're telling us to do specific, I guess, inner work. You're telling us to rewire our brain. Why? If you're following your own advice, if you're doing what you're telling the people who are paying for your services to do, why aren't you as rich as Elon Musk? Because it's trash. Because every personal development guru, if this was true, would be as rich as Elon Musk. And you know it's trash. This is all trash. I hate it so much.
Love the guy or hate the guy, you have to admit he has been very good at creating wealth and creating a name for himself. And that's what we as entrepreneurs can do if we want to.
Yeah.
There's nothing from stopping us from being able to create that.
There's lots of things that are stopping us, ma'am. And I've already talked about them. We've already discussed structural issues, socioeconomic issues, racism, homophobia, transphobia. There are lots of things that will get in the way of people becoming extremely wealthy. I'm frustrated. Yes, Marie, no. What a disaster it would be if everyone thought and acted like that loon ball. She would find some way to say that you're not doing it quite right, that there's some nuance to it that they are missing. They all say that. They all say that. Like, you're not doing it with the right mindset. You don't have the right thoughts, or you need to rewire your brain. Right? Elon buying Twitter was a great investment. I'm going to let it play, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so let us know if you've gotten value from that or what you've taken away from this topic.
Your homework after this episode is to have a conversation with yourself and write down all the things you want. Like, it might be a notebook full of things you want. And if you feel yourself trying to justify why you might need that thing, remind yourself there is no justification, rationalization, excuses, none of that. You want it, and it's okay to want it. So with that, we will talk to you guys on next week's episode. Make sure that you're here. We're here live at this time every single week on Thursdays. So be here to join us. We'll see you next week.
See y'all.
So our homework is we need to write something in a notebook about things that we want and try our best to not justify those things that we want. I see I have a bad connection. I hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear me. Let me take off my camera just for a second. It's still a bad connection. I'll just keep, oh, there you go. We just need to make a list and not justify the things that we want. Well, ma'am, what happens when we make our list? We don't justify the things that we want and they don't come true because manifestation is trash. Manifestation needs to come with dedicated, deliberate action, and then you may or may not achieve your goal. Manifestation needs to, you need to be trying to manifest something that is within your control. Success in an MLM is not within your control. You having a good day at your new job could be within your own control because you can do some positive self-talk on your way to your first day at your new job. Say, I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to try my best to be calm. I'm going to be nice to my boss. You can control some things about your first day at a new job. You cannot control your level of success in an MLM. The biggest difference between us and Elon Musk is that he has no problem behaving badly to get what he wants. Oh my gosh, I love your points. You always say such good comments. Yes, if you want to find really good financial success in an MLM, you do have to ignore your morals. You have to ignore your ethics, because you are going to know that the vast majority of people underneath you are not making any money. And you need to be okay with that. You need to be okay with misrepresenting the opportunity. You need to be okay with fudging over the truth, potentially lying, like straight up lying. We need to be okay with that for us to make really, really good money in an MLM. Love that. Oh, yes, you were being sarcastic. I figured. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Audio and video is good. It was just kind of flickery on my end for a bit. So this was amazing. I had such a good time. I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed people bringing up that wealth can mean different things, not just financial wealth. But then I also liked the comment about, I think it was PH Actress, who said, yes, there are other definitions of wealth, but why do we need to be talking about that at business training? Because yes, this is business training. We should be talking about how to increase our income. We should be talking about tangible business tips instead of, well, just write down that you want a private jet and then you'll get the private jet. Then you'll make money. It's all inner. We have to rewire our brain. And why do we need to rewire our brain? To find success. I've never had to change the base of who I am to find success in a job. I've never had to do that. The part, yes, how can anyone be okay with it? You mean the unethical aspect of it? For sure. I completely agree. So that's all I have for today. I'm sorry, my commentary I feel like was not as good as it usually is, but I think overall this went very well, and I hope you guys can go watch Danielle Ryan right now. That'd be really cool if you could go say hi to her. I'll just link to her page, and then you can go and watch her live. That would be awesome. I would love that. I can't watch her right now. I need to go help my husband with our tires. But if you can click on this link and then click on her live video, that would be amazing. I'd really appreciate that. It's a good topic. It's a good topic. So thank you for this conversation about the difference between money and wealth. I really, really enjoyed it. I really like listening to the Beach Boss influencers talk, because like Gary said, they're whack. They're whack. They sure are. I'm not going to be going live this weekend because we're really busy, but I'll see you all early next week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye.